Hi folks, it's Chris Carey. I told you there's a lot more content coming this week. I still have a whole boatload of stuff here to share with you. So I'm going to take a moment right now to talk about the power of webinars. Webinars are not just the things that everybody's used to. I want to take a second and break that down for you. A webinar basically is you sharing something informative with your audience. Presumably that audience has an interest in taking something beyond that. If they don't, this is a good qualifier for it. They'll know whether you're the right answer to their problem or not. And if you're not, no harm, no foul, off you go. There's also a form of webinar that's a paid webinar, and that has a variety of different ways that pans out. That webinar could be a short, relatively short, 20 minutes to an hour presentation of concrete distilled value, and you charge for that. That could be a course, that could be an information update, it could be a group meeting. This happens a fair bit where video conferencing becomes, basically it's a webinar, is what it is. Same tool, just a different way of looking at it. And so when we're talking about project management, when we're talking about meetings or sales or activities, there are opportunities here where businesses and individuals can take the tool that is the webinar platform and turn it into something more productive, something more valuable. It's all about web conferencing. At the end of the day, you have X number of people that want to share the same conversation. You're going to have key presenters who present the information. You may have video, you may have audio, you may have pictures, you may have slides, you may have a lot of other things, but you're going to have some kind of a conversation, live or recorded, about a subject that somebody else finds valuable. Pardon me. Again, I apologize for the allergies. I moved to the desert, you'd think, but no. So when it comes to webinars, there's I don't know whether it's a fear or a misunderstanding that the webinar is somehow, the word webinar makes it sound more formal and more complicated than it needs to be. And when you look at the technology of webinar platforms, they're all kind of messed up. You sit there and you use your mouse and you're drawing or you're trying to figure out how to make things happen. And each platform is different. Each platform has strengths and weaknesses. We have our own called Hot Webinars. It has strengths and weaknesses. The challenge for the person doing the webinar is you're focused on the conversation, or you should be focused on the conversation, when in reality you're focused on the automation, the mechanics of it. And so your audience is expecting this and getting this, right? That's how you see a lot of webinars play out. And I've done more than my share of doing that, exactly because that's, you're trying to make the mechanics of it work. Pardon me. So when it comes to the audience, though, I want you to think about this for a second, especially in light of Orlando, in light of the Paris attacks and whatnot. There are a lot of soft targets that are going to be hit. All of these terror organizations and people with ill intent are going to find soft targets, vulnerable areas of opportunity to go attack. A webinar kind of gives you an opportunity to have a business event without that risk. There's no centralized target. There's nowhere to hit. And since there's nowhere to hit, now everybody has an opportunity to engage fully in what it is you're doing. So webinars are a great opportunity to reach across countries, across time zones sometimes, around the world, and have everybody come together and have a serious discussion about something. Have a productive discussion about something. That's really critical to it. So when you have a meeting, isn't it really valuable to make that meeting count? think about this for a second. You have a webinar with 60 people on it. Each person's average salary, let's say, is $60,000 a year. So their hourly rate, I'm just going to whip out a calculator here, $60,000 divided by 240 working days divided by 8. Oh, hang on. Equals. So $31 an hour is what the assumption is before taxes. So let's just say that were true. It's not, but let's say it's true. At $31 an hour times, what did we say, 50 people? Every hour you're using up $1,562.50 worth of resource time value. Every hour of webinar equates to that if you've got 50 people attending and the average salary is $60K. You want to make sure that the tools you have and the people you have making that webinar make sense or happen are valuing the content worth $1,562.50 or more. Right? Because otherwise, somebody's time is being wasted. If you're not providing information that's going to drill down, drive home what those people need to do and what they need to know, you're wasting somebody's time. Pardon me. Now, let's suppose those same 50 people pay you $10 each for 1 hour of your time. Now, we talk about $15 an hour is what everybody in the US is screaming for. Not everybody, a small percentage, but there's a percentage of people who are demanding $15 an hour. So let's say you charge $15 an hour for your webinars. Times 50 people, you're talking about $750 for an hour's worth of work. I want that to sink in for a second. $750 for 1 hour. All you need are 50 people. Now this becomes much more interesting, doesn't it? Better yet, if you can record it, and you can have people visit that for $7.50 an hour going forward. They pay half price because it's recorded rather than live. $7.50 times, instead of 50 people in one shot, it's 100 people over a year. So now you've got $7,500 for something you did over 1 hour, plus the original $750 that you made the day you did it. So you're talking about $8,250 for 1 hour's worth of work. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. There's a real value to that. And if you can do one of those a month, that adds up pretty quick. You see where I'm going? The power of a webinar, that's just for the webinar. So imagine if you've got a $15 course that you can offer, or a $20 course. Some of those $500 or $1,000 courses that I deliver become a lot more appealing if I can sell it to 50 people for 20 bucks. 50 people times 20 bucks is $1,000 for the same course. Ordinarily, I'd get 1 or 2 people to pay $500, $400, $350 for. So I break even really quickly if I just get more people involved. Now, here's where it gets really fun. If I get 50 people involved instead of 2, those 50 people, I have their email addresses. Or I have them go through an app. I have them register through an app. So now I have access to their cell phones through the app. I can send push updates of new courses. Oh, another 10 bucks, another 20 bucks, you've got another course. Do you see how that works? Very quickly, you now have a long list of eligible candidates who can take courses, pay you 10 or 20 bucks each, but you've got a recurring volume of people who are actually going to do it. You've got 10 people one month, another 10 the next, another 10 the next. Before long, you've got your 50 people, and all you have to do is make sure the content you're giving them is the content they want. And if they're your followers, odds are pretty good they know what you've got. So this is a pretty cool way for content creators and businesses to share what it is they do. Now, I've got a client contact who is talking about using this to train their clients on how to use point-of-sale terminals. You use a web conference so they can ask live questions while you're with them. And now think about this. You have a client you're working with directly in a conference situation. They can ask live questions by voice or by text or what have you. You can, with video, show them exactly how to do whatever it is they want done and solve their problem right there, but you could be a million miles away. They could be the other end of the world and it's still okay. Think about what that costs, or what that saves you, rather. So ordinarily, if you're going to do that point-of-sale training, you're going to go to, let's say, 100 stores over a year, and those are going to be all over the country. So you've got at least 40 or 50 flights plus the returns. So you're talking round-trip flights at least $500 each times 50 stops. You're talking about $25,000 in airfare, or one webinar tool that you can use. You might even be able to use recordings of and save a lot of time and travel while you're at it. That, again, doesn't even compare things like having to do the hotels and the food and the rest of that stuff for the travel, because you have that live engagement. You do. It's an amazing opportunity to work with clients and staff and supporters everywhere and anywhere. It makes such a big difference to be able to do that. So you can save money with webinars. You can make money with webinars. Pardon me. You can train people and improve your performance of your organization with webinars. You can recruit people with webinars. You can do job interviews over a webinar. It doesn't have to be that traditional sense of lecturer, student, lecturer, student. This is web conferencing, much more than webinar technology. It takes webinar technology and applies it in ways that people really have used, but they've never thought of it that way, and gives you much more power to make, save, or build value in everything you do in business. That's the power of a webinar, or a webinar platform, and what you can do with it. So, on top of all the other things, I'm going to add one last thought for you. Today, the vast majority of projects are all outsourced. If you want something done, you have somebody on Fiverr do it. You want somebody to go program your website, it's somebody else who does it. It's usually not you. You want somebody to go do your marketing, it's somebody else. And they're not necessarily near you. This gives you an ability to do team conversations, team engagement, that you would not be able to do otherwise. So that's why you're finding a lot of webinar companies are kind of charging a premium, especially if you're dealing with more than 10 people that you want to have on a call. If you have up to 10 people, there are lots of join.me's and Zooms and other things that you can do, Uvu, pardon me. And you can have good conversations with video with a lot of them. And it's pennies, nickels, dimes. As soon as you want to get above 10 people, now the pricing starts kicking in. As soon as you want to get above 15 or 20 people, you might as well go for 100 or more. Pardon me, that's really where this breaks down. So at that level, at the 100 or more level, or rather up to 100 level, the pricing typically for like the WebExes, the Adobe Connects, the pardon me, yeah, WebEx, Adobe Connects, GoToWebinar, that kind of thing. Those are all in the $89 a month range. And here's the odd part. Typically, you have to prepay for a year. So you're talking about $1,000 a year. That still beats the living heck out of traveling to all these places and all the cost that goes with that. You may still have to travel to some, but even one of them's just saved you in the neighborhood of $2,500. Realistically, with hotel and pardon me, airport transfer, car rentals, and food, and all the rest of the stuff that goes with that. It's not necessarily unexpected that you're going to save about $2,000, $2,500 if you can do it by webinar. So that's one big idea to look at. In doing that for your business, how much more personal can you get with your customers? If you're going to have a big demonstration, you're going to do a live press conference, do you have to be in front of a whole bunch of people physically, or can this do the job? For me, your company is no longer limited by physical presence. There are real advantages to physical presence. I'm not disputing that at all. But being able to have this kind of a conversation with live people online, all in the same digital venue, makes your business work a lot smoother in your day-to-day work, in your overall sales capacity, marketing to your clients, giving them the chance to directly interact with people in your company who know what the heck they're talking about, answering the questions once rather than 3,000 times. These improve your efficiency, they improve your productivity, they improve your team coordination, they improve your team collaboration and integration. There is very little that webinar technology and web conferencing technology doesn't help. So the power of webinars is huge. Now, if you go to hotwebinars.com products and pricing page, you're going to find that we're building more stuff in there right now. Pardon me. But there are 5 things in there that are live and ready to go. We have our standard monthly, standard annual, pro monthly, pro annual. We have a VIP monthly package. We're going to put in a PR package. We're going to put in an app package and a couple of other things to help add in other values to that. But these are all values that you can take advantage of right now, and considerably cheaper by far than the competitors at the WebEx and GoToWebinar and other levels. It has its strengths, it has its weaknesses. But as far as a platform that almost anybody can use, this is a very strong competitor in that marketplace, and I'm proud to represent it. I'm going to leave it there. Feel free to check that out. We're going to be offering some deals over the weekend as well. One of the deals is really special, and any purchase between now and end of day Sunday, you're going to get these special offers. The special offers include software and some training that will allow you to do lots of different things. I don't want to burst that bubble yet because that's a surprise for later today. But if you buy anything from now on until the end of day Sunday, you're going to be qualified for that bonus anyway. So just hold tight. Go ahead, make your purchase. I'll back up with the bonuses anyway. Do the trials. You know, we've got some trials. It's like $1 or $97 for the biggest package or what have you, and you've got 7 or 14-day trials for $1. Really, why not give it a shot? We're adding lots and lots of new features. We're adding lots of videos. Before long, we're starting to get some training videos put together. We're starting to get some more service and feature videos coming together. So please feel free to give that a shot. And we'll talk to you soon about all the other things you can do with webinars. But I figured it was important to take a moment because a lot of the time people don't really understand how they can use a webinar in their business. And I hope this particular little video showed you lots of different ways that your company, no matter what it is, can really benefit from doing webinars. I'll give you one last example. Let's say you're a business coach and you want a solid platform that you can do video conferencing like this with your customers. You want them to register for specific dates and times. You set all that up and they register, the email goes in, there's an automatic reminder, you can set up repeated reminders, copy paste, all done. So you know they're going to be there, they know they're going to be there, and everybody gets to hop on and have their conversation just like this, right? You talk to me, I talk to you, we get to see each other, we get to do what we got to do. in their case, whether they get to show me what they look like in video or not isn't as big an importance as the customer being able to see me. I need to hear them, but they need to see me. That's the relationship that you're going to have with your customers. So having that conversation, or making them the presenter so that you can then see them, gives an opportunity for both of you to really have that drill down conversation as a coach with a client. And oftentimes our clients are not where it's convenient to have a normal coaching session and a normal coaching call. But if you have this kind of a visual video thing in their hotel room, they're taking a break from a meeting or something, and this is the scheduled time for you guys to do your coaching session, this is great. This is how it works. So lots of opportunities there, lots of ways this can work for you. Whether it's hot webinars or any other, I strongly recommend that everybody get their version of it. Even if it's a mechanic and you want to explain to your customers why a car part is so expensive. Here, let me go show you on the websites. Here's what our cost, our manufacturer's cost is. Here's what our markup is. Here's what the cost is. It's a pretty straightforward way of being able to explain to customers why things are the way they are, or what you're doing to help them, or how this is going to work. So I really, really recommend taking the time to find out more about webinars and how they can work for you. Thanks a whole bunch. Cheers for now.